good day. We are at Mount Robson Provincial Park and we are hiking the Berg Lake Trail, which is heading right up and around the back side of Mount Robson. Mount Robson is the highest peak in the Canadian Rockies at almost 4,000 meters. And we're going to be having a good time. There's a few forest fires nearby, so it is rather smoky today. And we're just going to hope that the winds go the right way and we don't have to worry about that at all. But yeah, gonna be a big hike. We're gonna be seeing dozens more of these. Way up there in the clouds is the summit of Mount Robson.
Cool.
What are these stuff?
It's a salmon berry.
Ooh, tasty. So we just hiked about 7 kilometers and we're arriving at the Kinney Lake backcountry site campground. So we just got to pick ourselves a spot and set up. And we found our site. So these are the bear caches. This is where in the backcountry you store your food so the black bears and the grizzlies don't get into it. So we're picking one and storing all of our food in it for the night. So this is our new tent. We just got MSR 3-person light. So it's not the lightest tent, it's not the heaviest, but it's well rated. So it's definitely very smoky here. But this is Cinnamon Peak, or at least the start of it. So very small waterfall. It's actually quite big, but it's quite far away over there. And then past that peak we have a glacier, and going up higher behind it is Whitehorn Mountain, and then of course Robson. That's just the start of it. It goes much higher, way far back. Goodbye, sun. Into the dark we go. Alright, we're all settled in for the evening. We set up our tent, had a walk around, cooked up some supper, and now we're just getting ready to close things up before the dark hits us. So this is what our view is looking like from right across from our campsite. Pretty sweet. Here at Kinney, this is our nice eating area, pretty well set up here. Just across there, that's where our tent is set up. And then of course, right over here, we have our awesome view. Can't beat that. Here in Mount Robson Provincial Park, we have a lot of wildlife. There's grizzly bears and black bears. There are moose, elk, deer, mountain goats, as well as mountain lions, and occasionally wolves and caribou also pass through the area. Alright, we're in our tent, ready to call it a night. Projected temperature for tonight, 1 degree. The sun is not yet up. Looks like a lot of the wildfire smoke moved off, and we are in for a nice sunny day. Goodbye, campsite. Nice knowing ya. And we head off. All right, we got 2.5 to Whitehorn. That's where we're pitching our tent. And then another 9.5 after that to Berg, which is where we're gonna head for the day hike. Landslides and washouts, and they've had to close a bunch of parts of the trail, and they're working on fixing things now. This is from the headwaters from Robson flowing down towards Kinney. So where we started, down below Kinney Lake, is considered part of the boreal forest that stretches right across Canada. Even some of the features of temperate rainforest that BC has would be down there. We're now heading up into subalpine and transitioning into alpine up near Berg Lake. Hello there. Switchbacks. Woo-hoo. Right on. Our campsite's going to be up ahead at Whitehorn, and then we'll be heading that way afterwards. All right, we got our second spot in the shadow of Whitehorn Mountain. All right, we got our second spot in the shadow of Whitehorn Mountain. Tent is up, heading to Berg. We got some grouse. Okay, our base camp at Whitehorn is behind us, and we are making the day trek to Berg Lake. And right there, at almost 4,000 meters, almost 13,000 feet, is the highest point in the Canadian Rockies, Mount Robson. Big waterfall right there. Steph right there. There's a real tall one up there. Actually, it's a few tiers of it. Yeah, no kidding. I think my sweat is starting to leach through my hat. Falling apart, but still good. Oh yeah. Can't get those salmon berries back home. So we still have to hike that way, all the way up that way. Then we're gonna start going up that side of this deep trench, and Berg Lake is up there, and of course there we have Robson. Okay, Steph just spotted this. I don't know if it's for sure the case, but if that is a woolly caterpillar, it is all black, which means we could be in for a winter. So we have now come all the way around the other side of Mount Robson. Right there. Oh yeah, we got glaciers. Biggest marmot I've ever seen just ran down into those bushes there. That was a massive rodent. Starting to see Berg Lake. Cool. Berg Lake. That is cold. Just looks like the sky. Sometimes that glacier makes huge cracking noises as it's breaking up.
Does anyone know what that is?
Not me. Crazy. Oh. That is indeed glacier cold. Oh man. that is gonna hit real good. So this is our new water filter, the Sawyer Squeeze. You just have to fill it up, attach it to the little filter on the end, and then put it straight into your drinking supply. It's so cold.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you have to... Easy as that. So we came from way through that pass, way down around the mountain, around the other side of Robson. And if you kept hiking that way through that pass, you'll end up in Jasper National Park in Alberta. Goodbye, Berg. Time to head back to our base camp at Whitehorn for the night.
So, is this what you expected?
Oh, it exceeds expectations.
Yeah?
For sure. What do we got here, Steph?
Oh, raspberries, but it's just barely ripe. But good enough for me.
Alpine raspberries. We had an almost bear encounter. The person just ahead of us on the trail had stopped, and he was not far ahead of us. And he told us a bear kind of surprised him, or he surprised the bear right out on the trail. Now it was just a black bear, but can't be too careful. So that's our bit of excitement for now. I'm already getting wet with spray here. Woo. That is cold. Already getting soaked. Beautiful. Woo! Clacking of the hiking poles. It's not the video. This bridge definitely angles sideways. Let's turn this way. Back to White Falls. Yeah, this doesn't look like the safest spot. If I had to guess, this is where the old trail had a bridge that came through, which is why I think these are probably here. But yeah, like there was a lot of major flooding and rock falls, landslide, and a lot of this trail got wiped out, so pretty happy to be able to get back on it again. So this valley is called the Valley of 1,000 Waterfalls. You can see why. There's a couple at the far end of that over there. There's one there. There's a few tiers of one there, and we passed so many already. over the bridge and back to our campsite. And then we have to figure out where to wash up in this river without getting swept away.
It's a little windy.
Alright, so our hot water's going. Last night we had beef marinara and chicken alfredo. Beef marinara was really good. Chicken alfredo, maybe not so much. Tonight we're having beef stroganoff and chicken pesto pasta. These are freeze dried. We also had some freeze dried breakfasts with like scrambled eggs and stuff like that. So that's how we're saving weight on these trips and spending money.
7:30 and Robson's Peak is still lit up there. Back at our campsite at Whitehorn, calling her a night. Goodbye, campsite. The sun is hitting the tops of the mountains, and we must go. Got an easy 10.5K back this morning, and that'll be it.
This trail's really different than when I hiked it in 2020, especially past Whitehorn.
Oh, okay.
Although the section from Kinney to Whitehorn is also different.
So Steph hiked this back before 2021. And in 2021, BC had some crazy intense weather, which caused a lot of flooding and landslides and rock falls and stuff like that. And here at Berg Lake, Mount Robson, they had what was called an atmospheric river, which is basically just an insane amount of water coming through, and it took out some of those bridges that we saw, which were eventually replaced. So they actually had to close the whole trail for quite a while. They reopened the trail to Kinney, which is where we had started our first night in 2022. But it wasn't until this year, 2025, that they actually reopened the rest of it. So it took a lot of work for them to get that fixed. And yeah, it looks great. Those are tiny mushrooms. Let's have a peek into this lake one last time. That's gonna do it for this trip. We did over 44 kilometers. Not exactly sure what the total was. Plenty of elevation gain. And yeah, we saw some wildlife and went through some nights hovering above zero, above freezing, which was a nice temperature. The day's a little warmer. And yeah, it's September. So a great time of year to go too. Thanks for watching, and until next time, make sure you filter your glacier water. You never know what's in it.